uh, we were working on this course and moved on to the next section, which is under responsive web design, and it is basic CSS. So basically, we have covered HTML and two parts. First two parts, that is basically to lay out the page, and now we are talking about, you know, uh, beautifying our web page and giving it colors and all of that stuff. Okay, cool stuff. So I will start on this. Change the color of text. Okay. Um, we can use style attribute to give the CSS properties, changes to color so that its color is red. Okay, so here is H2. Here we have H2. Color is red. All right. So should end with semicolon. Yeah, red. Okay. Now move on to next one and use CSS selectors to style elements. Okay. Hundreds of CSS property that you. Okay. Style. All right. Okay, so we can declare style in our style sheet. Inline styling, this is called. And within the curly braces, we can define our CSS properties. So a semicolon to the end of each element. Okay, delete your h2 style attribute and instead create a CSS style block. Add the necessary CSS to return all h2 elements blue. All right, I have to remove this one and we'll use a style like this. So color should be blue. Okay, all right. To style and okay, classes. We do red text. Inside your style element, change the h2 selector to red text and update the colors value to. Okay, class is equal to red text, and this should be red also. When we style classes, we put a dot before the name, and which means that it's a class in CSS. Okay. Uh, Class to the first p. You can see this by applying your red text class to the first p tag. Okay, this is my p tag, and I have done this. Okay, and now change the font size of an element. Inside the same tag that you create an entry for p element, set the font size 16 pixel. Okay, font size is 16 pixel. Okay, semicolon should be there. Next up is set the font family of an element. Make all of your p element use the monospace font. Font family is this one, monospace. Next up is import a Google font. Okay, we can use Google fonts as well. Here on every browser has some fonts, but apart from those fonts, if you want to use some, then you have to import them. So we will be using Google fonts. Specify node standard custom. Google Fonts library. Google is blocked in your country. Okay. You can copy the fonts URL from Google library and then paste for the lobster font. To do this, copy the following code snippet. Okay. Before the opening. Code snippet, paste it into the top of your code editor before the opening style. Okay, this is a style sheet, of course. And okay, now that we have imported, this is a style sheet, as you can see, it's a CSS, but it's basically a font family that we have imported from Google. This is also this styling is called inline styling, and this is external style sheet, okay, that we have linked here. So we can have our local external style sheets as well, and also we will be pulling from the web, or I mean CDN and those kind of things. Font in your CSS by using a font family as in the following. Okay, this is font which is a fallback. If meaning if the this font is not available on your computer, then this font will be used, which is a fallback font. This in the case they specified this is okay family name. Okay, sensitive need to be wrapped. Okay, so import the font, then use your as the font family to lobster. Okay, lobster. Let's see how it changes. Okay, yeah, you see those paragraphs are lobster now. And the other thing we were talking about, if lobster is for instance not available on your machine, then specify a fallback font here. All right, test will not be passed. Just for okay, h2 tags, not the paragraph. All right. So you see, I'm very lazy, so I have undo my changes, but not preferred the typing. Font family is lobster. Okay. Should degrade. There are several fonts in all browsers. These generic font families. When one font is not available, you can tell the browser to degrade it. You want an element to use the Helvetica font, but degrade produces. Okay, this is the same thing that we were talking about. If some font is not available, then we will be falling back. Uh, Generic font names are not case sensitive. All right, so we know that this is a generic font because it's not uh, case sensitive, and we are using dashes for hyphens for spacing purposes. That is cool. To begin, apply the is there to begin apply the font to h2 element and how it now has two fonts. Okay. Right. In the last challenge, you imported the now comment out the import of font from Google Fonts so that it's not available anymore. Now notice that. Okay, so I will first provide the fallback font. Then I will comment out my import, which basically means that this font is not available that we are trying to use. And now also, if I can show you that this now is monospace. Lobster was not used. So if I import this again, then you will see that lobster is being used. Okay, where is that? Okay, CSS has called width and controls on elements width. Just like the fonts, we will use pixel to specify the image's width. For example, if we wanted to create a CSS class, a large image that gave HTML with the width of 500 pixels. Create a class called smaller images and use it to resize the images so that it's only 100 pixels wide. Okay, let's do this. I have made a class. Oh no. And width is 100 pixels. All right. So now if I, okay, 100 pixels. And where is my photo? Okay, class is equal to smaller image. Okay, so image gets smaller. All right, so add borders around your elements. Style, color, and width. For example, if you want to create a red 5 pixel border around the HTML, we will use this class. Create a class called thick green border. Thick green border. Okay, this class should add a 10 pixel solid green border around an HTML element. Okay, so we will be using border color, and that color is green. No, all right. In CSS, we don't have to use quotations. Border color, border width is 10 pixel, and border style is uh, okay. Border style, we also specify border style as solid. Okay, and now what we have to do, cat photos. Cat photo. Thick green border should be on cat photo. Thick green border. All right. You can apply multiple classes to an element. Okay, yeah. Rounded corners with border radius. With pixels, give your cat photo a border radius of 10 pixel. Okay, so we already use this class. For example, we will provide this 10 pixels of border radius. Okay, so that is looking cool now. This images allows for multiple possible solutions. For example, you may have border radius to either the, okay, makes sense. And now make circular images with a border radius. Border radius of 50. In addition to pixels, you can also specify the border radius using a percentage. Cat photo. Okay, 50%. All right, look at this. This is looking good. Now give a background color to a div element. You can set elements background color property. All right. Create a class called silver background. First of all, create this class. And what we do with the background color of silver. Background color is silver. Okay. Assign this class to your div element. Where is that div element? Okay. Class is equal to no, silver background. Okay. Now we need to set the ID of an element. For example, give your form element the ID cat photo form. Okay. We specify IDs on our page to basically, if we want to target that specific element, we can use the ID to pick up that element from JavaScript, or from CSS as well, to specifically uh, style this form element. Okay, for example. Use an ID attribute to style an element. Okay. Try giving your form, which now has the ID element, a green background. Okay, so our form has an ID of cat photo form, and we have to background color of green. All right, now it's not working. Okay, for IDs specifically, you will use hash before, oh no, before the uh, ID name. So for classes we use dot, and for IDs we use hash. That is the difference. Adjust the padding of an element. Now let's you may have already noticed that but all HTML elements are essentially little rectangle. Now let's put our photo app away for a little while and learn more about. You may have already noticed but all HTML elements are essentially little rectangle. Three important properties control the space that surround each element: padding, border, and margin. Okay, so this is padding, this black one is border, and this yellow one is margin. Padding controls the amount of space between the element's content and its border. Okay, that is cool. So basically, padding is between border and this original element, and now and the margin is outside of border. So change the padding of your blue box to match that of your red box. Blue box to match that of your red box. Okay, this is box, this is yellow box, and this is blue box, and we have to use the red box padding. So padding on red box is more than the blue box, which is 20 pixels, and on blue box we have 10 pixels. So running the tests, and now let's go to next one. Adjust the margin of an element. Change the margin of blue box to match that of the red box. Blue box to match that of the red box. Yeah, the red box have more margin, and that is why it's squeezed in comparison to this blue box. So basically what that means is this has margin of 20 pixel, and this should also have 20 pixel margin. Okay. Add a negative margin to an element. An element margin controls the amount of space between an element and border and surrounding elements. An element's margin controls the amount of space between an element's border and surrounding element. If you set an element margin to a negative value, the element will grow larger. Try to set the margin to a negative value like the one of the red box. Change the margin of blue box to minus 15 so it fills the. Okay, so negative. The red box have margin of minus 15 pixel, and blue one have 20 pixel. Okay, now it's all covered. Let's go to the next step. Add different padding to each side of an element. Give the blue box a padding of 40 pixel on its top and left side, but only 20 pixel on its bottom and right side. Okay, where is blue box? So padding top should be 40 pixel. Padding left left should be 40 pixel, and padding right should be 20 pixel. Padding bottom should be 20 pixel. Okay, so there are multiple ways of doing this. There is a smart way to apply all the four paddings, but for sake of this tutorial we will not do this. Keep it basically keeping it simple. Add different margins to each side of an element. Give the blue box a margin of 40 pixel on its top and left box, but only 20 pixel. Okay, now we are playing with margin. Red box, blue box, so we have to make it all equal. Next one is use clockwise notation to specify the. Okay, that was something I was talking about from the second last step, that we can use clockwise notation to specify padding, and we don't have to specify padding left, padding right, and all of that stuff. Okay, so on blue box, class on blue box, we have to give a padding top and left side, top and left side. So we will move clockwise. Top is this, then right, then bottom, and then left. So this will be like 40 pixel. No, what was that? Class a padding of on its top, yeah, 40 pixel. And on right we have to specify 20 pixel, bottom 20 pixel, and left is 40 pixel. Okay, go to the next step and use clock penetration to specify the margin of an element. Okay, so now we will be playing around with margin on blue box, and margin is 40 pixel on top and left, 40 pixel top and left, and 20 pixel on right. 20 pixel and 40 pixel. Okay, run the test. And now we are basically done 50% on our basic CSS, and next we will cover in the next round. So bye for now, take care.